Okay, in this video, we are going to essentially get our computers set up and ready for this class. Okay, plus we're going to get into Illustrator and get that set up and ready as well. Okay, so this is going to be quite a bit of a process. As you watch this video, you might want to pause it and replay it, or fast forward, or replay it as you go. Okay, so there's going to be quite a bit that we're going to do. All right. So first off, we need to create a folder on our desktop to save our stuff. Okay, this is going to be a folder specific to your computer. So you need to make sure that you're always sitting at the same computer so that you'll have access to your work. Okay, so this, by putting a folder on this desktop, designates this desktop, pretty much this computer, as your computer. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to right click on the surface of the computer on the desktop. So what this is the desktop. And I'm going to go to new, and I'm going to go to folder. Now that folder is right here and it's highlighted. While it's highlighted, I can type in my name. So type in your name, hit return. Now there is your folder that you're going to save your work into. Okay. Now we want to put a quick access to the application of Illustrator and also to Photoshop on the desktop. Okay. And the way we're going to do that is we need to come down here to this window down here at the taskbar. This is called the start. You saw that when I hovered my mouse over that, it said start. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to come up here to all, click on that. And I'm going to come down here to OW Illustrator. Now I'm not going to click on it. What I'm going to do, actually I'm going to click, but I'm going to click and hold. Okay, I'm going to click and hold. And that's going to allow me to drag it onto the desktop. If you just click on it, it's going to open it. And we want to click and hold and drag. Now we want to do the same thing to the Photoshop. We want to click and hold and then drag and then drop. Okay. Now we're first going to start on Illustrator and then later get to Photoshop. So we can just go ahead and put Photoshop on the desktop as well. Now one thing I want to point out about the start down here, if I click on that, you can see my name on it. And that is also where you can sign out. If I click on that, it's going to give me the option to sign out. So always make sure you sign out at the end of class. If you don't sign out at the end of class and someone comes in and sits at your computer, they could easily say, well, what's that file doing there? And just go delete. Okay. And then once they delete your folder, all your work is gone. All your assignments are gone. So you don't want to allow someone access to your account. Always sign out at the end of class. Okay. All right. Make sure and do that. All right. So what we're going to do, this is the number one task that we wanted to do for this assignment. So actually, let me just go to the assignment. Let me see if I still got it up here. I don't. Anyway, I'll just tell you, that is one of the things we need to turn in for our assignment. I'll log in here in a minute and I'll show you that. So I'm going to screenshot this as evidence that you completed this. Now, how you create a screenshot is on your keyboard, you have your space bar, and on the left of your space bar, you have an Alt key and a Windows key that looks like just like the start, just right here. It looks just like that. Little 4 squares making a larger square. So on your keyboard, you're going to press that, press the Shift key, okay, at the same time. And then you're going to press and release the S key. And then release the window and Shift key. And then your screen's going to dim. You're going to get this white crosshair. And you're going to come up here and click and drag. And hold and drag. And then capture everything that we've done so far, which is this file and then these two applications on the desktop. Let me go ahead and log into Canvas real quick. You're going to get to see me do this real quick because I just need to get into it so you can see the assignment. I wish I'd done that before I started the video, but you know. Let's see here. Just bear with me. We get into Canvas. I'll take you where the lesson is located at. Okay, we're going to go to student view just so it looks like what you see. Let's see, assigned over there. So I'm going to go bell ringer playlist under quarter one, round one. And there it is, nuts and bolts. Okay. So this video that I'm recording right now will be placed right here. It will look just like that. And these are the four things we're trying to do. We're going to post a screenshot of the desktop with a folder with your name on it, the apps, Illustrator, and Photoshop. We just accomplished that, okay? And here's my attempt at doing this earlier. So I'm going to delete those, okay? So post a screenshot of your saved preset. We're going to do that. Post a screenshot of your saved workspace. We're going to do that. Post a screenshot of your desktop folder containing the same file test save as AI and as .jpg, and we're going to do that, okay? So for right now, let's go ahead. We completed the screenshot of the folder. So we're going to come up here to the photo, the image, click on that, upload image. I'm going to click upload image. And then I'm going to make sure I'm on screenshots over here in this screen to make sure we get to our screenshots. And you see I've been practicing this. I've done this quite a few times already. And I think this is the most recent one I just did. So I'm going to go open. So I've been practicing. And so I'm going to go, you really can't see right here, but I'm going to hit submit. And so there it is in the text entry box in Canvas. That's evidence. So that would get you, basically there's four things you got to do. That would get you 100 divided by 4. That would be 25 points. This would get you 25 points. Okay. So let's go do the rest of what we need to do. And let me get this out of the way. And we'll go to the desktop. Okay, minimize that. So we need to get into Illustrator. So we're going to click on Illustrator. Now you may have not opened Illustrator yet. And if you hadn't opened Illustrator yet, it's going to prompt you to log in under your Google account or your email account. Once you do that, then you can have access to Illustrator. So all right, and this is what your screen will look like once you are logged in or have access to Illustrator. From here, we're going to go to New File. And what we're going to do is we're going to start setting up a saved preset. Right now, there's no saved presets. We got to save a saved preset. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've already messed with all this. I'm going to tell you, by default, yours is probably going to show pixels right there. And it's going to look like, something with a PX right there. And you're going to notice, or you see that PT and that PX is pixels. Or you can see PT, which is points for PT. And we don't want that. We want inches. Okay, we want inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch this to inches. And I want you to, I don't know if yours is or not, but you see this silhouette of a person vertically? That is considered more or less a portrait orientation. Select that, make sure that's kind of blue. Now, my width already says 8.5 because I've already been doing this, right? Like I said, I was practicing. You need to make sure yours is 8.5 wide. Make sure yours is 11 inches tall. Now, what that is, that's essentially a piece of printer paper, okay? So we want to work on like a format that's a piece of printer paper because we're going to be printing out some of our work, right? And so this is in basically a vertical orientation, which we call portrait. Now, to make this a saved, we're going to go over here to this little arrow right here in this little box. We're going to click on that. And this is already highlighted. So what we're going to do is we're going to title that portrait. And we're going to save it as a preset. And now look what it did. We are now in the saved, and there's our portrait. It's 8.5 by 11 inches. Okay. Now we want to create a landscape. This orientation right here is basically a landscape. We're going to click on that, and that automatically takes our measurements and switches them so that it's 8.5 inches tall, 11 inches wide, which is the same size as a piece of printer paper, but now it's turned horizontally. We're going to go back to the arrow in the box, click on that, and title this, where it says saved, it's highlighted, landscape. And we're going to hit save preset. Now we have a portrait and a landscape to choose from when we create our work. Okay. Now you have created the other 25 points of this lesson, right? Now we need to create a screenshot. And so we're going to go to the Windows key again, next to your Shift key to the left of it. Hold down the Shift key. I'm sorry. I meant the space bar. I don't know if I mean the space bar. Okay. If you look at your space bar to the left of that is the window key. I'm sorry. So hold down the window key, hold down the Shift key, press down the S key and release it, and then release the other keys. And now this is going to appear, and you're going to click and hold that cursor, drag across, and take a screenshot of this screen. Okay. So you can see it's being saved to our screenshot clipboard. Okay. All right. So we can X that. Now we're ready to open a file. So we're going to use this landscape. It's already selected, and we're going to click on create. Now, if you want to, we can go ahead and go back to our Canvas page. If you want to, we can go ahead and include that screenshot we just did. So I'm going to go to Images, Upload Image, Upload Image. And I'm going to go find that screenshot, and I think it's right there. And now I'm going to go Open. Now we go Submit. Now it's going to be really big down here. Kind of put it down up under that. I'm going to shrink that down a little bit just so it's not taking up so much space. And now it'll be easier for me to grade seeing these two together. Okay. So we are now 50% of the way done with this assignment. Okay, let's go back to Illustrator. All right. Now, this is our workspace. It is not a very workable workspace, okay, as it is right now. There's quite a few things we can do this to make this more workable. For one thing, we don't have any of the things over here we need, and we have things we don't need. We don't need that. That's actually okay. You might see something that looks a bit like this. And if yours does look like this, that is way more stuff than we need. Okay. And it might even look like that. And to me, that is not workable. And we can't even see the entire toolbar because it goes off down there. So while we're on the toolbar, we'll just go ahead and work with the toolbar, okay? So this is your toolbar, all right? And you got all this stuff on it, right? And we don't need most of that. So I'm going to click on these two little arrows, and that's going to expand it this way. And I really like that because these small things right here, they're now bigger because the tools are side by side. It makes all this easier to read and easier to see and easier to click on because they're bigger. Now, to make this a better toolbar and get rid of some of these tools we don't need, this little three little dots, if you click on that, and you go up here to these three little lines right here, click on that, and just go to basic. Now, that is much more manageable in terms of tools that we can use. We'll more likely use most all of these tools, okay? Now, notice when I hover over one of these tools, it shows like a little video that it kind of tells you what the tool is and also kind of what it does, which is pretty cool, which can be helpful if you're just starting to learn. But after a while, it kind of gets in the way. So I'll probably show you after a while how you can get rid of that video, those little videos, because they just kind of become annoying and kind of in the way after a while. All right. So just like anything else, there's a lot of different ways to do things. And if we go to window right here and we go to toolbars, you can see right here also we could have switched it to basic as well. Or you can even make a new toolbar, manage toolbars. So anyway, so there's a lot of customization, okay? Now the next thing I want to get to is this right here. This thing just kind of gets in the way, and I kind of find it a nuisance, okay? It just kind of takes up screen space and kind of gets in the way. It's kind of sitting on top of our artwork and everything. So go to Window, go to Contextual Taskbar, click on that, and boom, it's gone, okay? Just know under Window, most all this stuff right here is stuff that, you can see the things that are checked right now. This libraries properties. You can see over here we got libraries and properties. So whatever is checked in this area is pretty much what's on the screen, right? Or you can take it away. So if I click on that, libraries goes away. If I click back on it, libraries comes back, okay? All right, so these are your panels, okay? The panels have all kinds of usefulness in terms of being able to do the things we need to do. But we want to manage these panels, okay? If you go to Workspace, switch Workspace, and go to Essentials Classic. Hopefully that won't change our toolbar. It changed our toolbar. Okay, so let's go back, make that basic again, and let's expand that. Okay. I should have done the Essentials Classic first, I guess, before I mess with the toolbar. So anyway, now you notice over here our panels are much better. We got these panels, which we're actually going to use more, and we're also, it kind of clears up all this territory of our screen. So notice if you click on that, we got all these different workspaces, okay, and they all kind of are optimized for kind of different functions like tracing or typography or web, right? So we're going to kind of, Essentials Classic. So anytime a workspace changes, you can go back and change it and reset it, okay? We're going to customize and create our own workspace, okay? Now, I'm going to show you what we need to have over here and what we don't need to have. It looks like right now this is actually what we need to have. And that's only because I've gone in and put it there prior and it kind of kept it there. But I'm going to show you what you need to have over here, okay? I kind of wish it wasn't like that because you need to see kind of how I got to this. But anyway, so you need to make sure you have properties. Now your properties might be stuck like right there. I think it was originally for me. And properties is really good. To move that, what I did is if you click and hold it and you can bring it up, you see the blue line right there, you can put it at the top and it just stacks it on top of that row. With color, see again, I've already adjusted this. Your color probably looks like that. Okay. What you need to do to get it back to the way I had it is click on those three little lines, show options, but also yours may also say CMYK, which I think that's what mine said at first. I don't think CMYK is very useful, these little sliders, to kind of be a view. So what I like to do is use HSB, and that's is hue, and that's saturation, and that is value, right? Now, if we come down here to this little bar right here, you know, it's got the little arrows on top and bottom. If I click and hold that and drag it down, that makes that expanded, which makes it a lot more user-friendly, okay? All right, so I'm going to collapse that. Your layers. I don't know if your layers is visible or if you have layers on your bar. If you don't, make sure and go up here and make sure you have layers checked. If you don't, then layers will be gone. And layers is probably one of the most important panels. So I'm going to click and drag it out here all by itself. I'm going to collapse that because layers, and your layers will probably look like that. And after a while, you're going to end up with layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. And I come around and you need help on your work, and I'm going to need to see your layers because that greatly affects any kind of issues you're going to have during your working. Because if you're not on the right layer, things are not going to work. All right. So what I like to do is have students click and hold on that, drag this down, so that at some point when you have layers upon layers, then I can go and look at them. Okay. So you don't need to add layers. I was just doing that to show you at some point you're going to have a lot of layers. Now, if you go up again up to these three lines and you go down to panel options, and I want you to click on large because I want it to be big. Because whatever is inside of here, this is a thumbnail, whatever is on this screen right here is going to show right here as far as what's on that layer. So you can see there, my layers have done gone off the bottom down here, okay? And that's because we have so many and I want them to be kind of big, okay? So actually, I'm just going to get rid of all those real quick. So we're back to just one, okay? All right, so this needs to be here. It needs to be expanded down, and it needs to have a large thumbnail, okay? For you to get a good grade on this assignment, make sure you're doing all these steps. Make sure you have this set up just like that. All right, now over here on the side of this, the next thing that's really important is your stroke. Again, your stroke probably looks like that, which isn't very useful or helpful. So I go to show options by clicking on these three little lines, and then you can see we have a lot more to work with, and you can close that. Now, I don't think you have that, so I'm going to get rid of it because I already put that in there. So those things I just deleted, you're going to need, but I put them there earlier, and so I want to show you how to put them there, okay? Which I should have gotten rid of them before I started the video, but you know, All right, so let's go down to type. I went to window, come down to type, go to character, and character is one of the things we want. So we're going to bring that over, put it up under here. Now I'm surprised it doesn't say paragraph right there. It usually does that. So yours might say character and paragraph. Mine just says character. So I'm just going to click, drag, and put that up under. So I see a blue right up under there and drop that in. Now I gotta go find paragraph. Go to window, go to type, go to paragraph. Now I'm going to take paragraph, put it up under there under character. Okay. I think that's it. Now I didn't really talk about gradient. Gradient's going to be something we use. Brushes, not so much really. Swatches, maybe. Color guide, nah. But, go ahead and have those things there. I think there's a few other things that were there by default that you don't need. Is it pattern options? No. Anyway, if you have anything else there, just get rid of it. One thing that's not there we need to include is Pathfinder. So transform a line have kind of come with Pathfinder. We're just going to click and drag Pathfinder out. And we're going to drag it over here and put it up under there too. We will use that. We don't need either one of those. So let's get rid of those. Symbols. Symbols is one you probably already have over here. I remember. And just pull it out and get rid of that. Make sure. Can't remember. There's something else. Was it properties? No, it was something else. Anyway. So just make sure this is all you have over here. Now make for a good workspace. Okay, we've got our layers out here. We got stretch down. We got our thumbnail large. We got our basic tools. We got them side by side, so this is bigger. We got all the panels we're going to use. We got them stacked like this. So now this is a good workspace. This is a usable workspace for us. Okay, I told you it was going to be a lot. And right now, honestly, having seen what you see on the interface and the workspace, you have become very familiar on some degree about Illustrator, which is great. That's what we want right now. We want you interacting, setting up, seeing how the interface works, okay, in the workspace. Now, this is something we want to save. If we close this right now, we would lose all the work we've done and it would just come back as it was before. Okay, so what we got to do is save this as sort of a preset, a workspace, okay, like a workspace preset. So let's go back up here to switch workspace, click on that, come down to new workspace, and we're going to title this digital design. Okay, click OK. Now, what'll happen is, let's just say this gets gone, this gets gone, even if that got gone, or any of the other things. All we'd have to do is come over here and go reset digital design. Boom. Everything's back in place. How nice is that? Okay. We can close this and we can go reopen it. Go to saved and open it. You hit create, and there you go. Everything's the way we set it up. Okay. All right. Now we're going to take a screenshot. This is the third thing we need to complete. We're going to hit the window key again, hit and hold it, and hold the shift key, press and release the S key. release the window key and the shift key, and now we can take a screenshot. Click and drag and release. Then we can go to our assignment, and we can hit return, and we can go to image. We can go upload image, upload image. We can find a screenshot of our workspace, which is, where is it? Well, so it might be one of these, but did it not work? Let's see. Okay, that was it. For some reason, okay, that's not it because that's too small right there. Oh well. Where is it? I can't tell with it being so small. This will be fine. It looks like the workspace. We'll just submit that. Like I said, I have multiple screenshots because I've been doing this quite a few times. All right. So there's our workspace. Okay, and there's one more thing we got to do, and then we'll be done with this. Okay, right now we're up to 75 points. Let's get our last 25. Let's go to Illustrator one more time. All right, we need to create something on this and then save it. Okay. Excuse me. Go to the T. Okay, T for type. Click on it. Come over here and click here. And by default, it says Lorem Ipsum and it's highlighted. So we're going to type all caps test save. Okay. Now that is way small for this area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to this dark arrow and click on that. And then what I can do is I can come down here and come down to the corner where the arrows are kind of diagonal. And I can click and drag it. And then I can click and drag here. Now that font is kind of a bland font. It's just very generic. We can spice that up a little bit. I'm going to go back to the T. And I'm going to come here to the very edge of this. And then click and hold and drag and highlight that. Now I can come up here to character where this is our fonts. And I'm going to click down that and I'm going to look for fonts that I might want to use that look interesting to me. It's actually very digital, kind of like that for digital design. It's got quite a bit of attitude. It's got quite a bit of attitude. Don't know what that is. Those are all very generic. No, I'm not very happy with all their font selection here. They got pretty good, but not great. That's kind of neat. There's the one I said was kind of digital earlier. It's kind of digital in a way or something. It's kind of quirky. All right, I'd already used that one earlier. I'm going to use it. It's kind of there's a magazine called Fangoria. It was like a horror magazine or something. I think that was kind of like that. Anyway, so we are too big for our space now. So I'm going to go back to the dark arrow and adjust the size of this now and make it fit within the space. I'm do it right here on the sides. I could even stretch it down further this way if I wanted to really make this fit space. Generally, you don't want to stretch fonts like that, but because it looks really bad now, it just looks actually really bad, but it fills the space. You can actually zoom out on this. I'm gonna have a hard time. So if you go to click minus, it'll zoom out. And if you go click plus, it'll zoom in. I'm just trying to get to these little dots here so I can kind of adjust it. Now, when I'm done with that, if I just click out here on the gray, it kind of deselected it, okay? All right, we have generated something to save. Now, again, look up here at our thumbnail. I got small again. Make it large. Might have to do that every time. I thought that would save, but you can kind of see the thumbnail for what's here is on there, right? Now we got to save this. Okay, this is the final step of what we're doing. We got to save this. Now, when we save it, we're actually going to save it and export it. It's basically like saving it twice. Okay. The first time it's going to be as an Illustrator file so that we can maintain and keep everything that we have. So let's just say we had additional layers. Okay, we had things going on in those areas. Actually, let's do that. Okay, I'm going to Control Z. If you ever want to undo, Control Z will undo. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to click, hold, and drag and put it up under the test save. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and you have what's called the rectangle box or the tool. Now you might, if you click and hold, you see these little arrows right here on the tools, those little arrows. That means underneath those you have additional tools. So if I click and hold on the pen tool, I also have the anchor point tool. And under the rectangle tool, I have the ellipse tool, polygon tool, star tool, line segment tool. Actually, let's just do the ellipse tool, or if you want to do a different shape, that's fine. But now that I have that clicked and selected, up here, this tells us how that's going to act. So it gives the opacity, and then we also have the color. So I'm going to give it, I guess I'm going to give it some impact. I'm going to make it yellow. Okay, so you can select a color. So now, if I come down here and I click and I drag, I can make an oval or a circle. If I hold the shift key, it makes it a circle. Okay, it constrains it. If I hold the shift key, if I let go of the shift key, it makes it an oval, or it obscures it, kind of squishes it. Okay, so I kind of like it squished. So I'm going to go with that. Now to move it, now that I've created it, I got to go back to the dark arrow, click on it, and then I can move it in place. And then click out here. So now notice we have that yellow right here. And if I go to that eye right there, I can click on that and it'll go on and off. Or I can click on and off on that eye for the test save. Now what's interesting is I can also lock these. You see right here in this area, if I click on that where the finger's pointed up and it says toggles lock, so I click on that, I have a lock. If I click on that, I have a lock. So now those layers can't be tampered with, right? I could, it's just, it is a good thing to do, to lock layers sometimes so you don't mistakenly, when you have like 20 layers here, do something on a layer you didn't intend to. All right, so here, getting back to the point of why we save 2 times. Let's say we go save this, okay, and we're going to save it. Okay, let's just do it. So go to File, go to Save As. Now this is very important. Notice how Save to Creative Cloud is highlighted. We don't do that. We just create a folder on your desktop. That's where we save to every time. So go to Save on Computer. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have to go to the desktop And this may not automatically, mine is showing the desktop. Okay. Yours might be showing the documents, or it might be showing the downloads. But either way, you might have to go find the desktop. Okay. If you come up here and click on that, you can generally get a list of things you can locate, and there's your desktop. So here's everything on the desktop. There's my folder that I just created, and I'm going to double click to open it. Now we need to give the file a name. We're going to call it test save. Now notice the save as type is by default Illustrator. Okay. Now we're going to click save. This is going to pop up. You're going to say okay. Now let's go look at our folder. Let's make sure that we do have our file in our folder, and there it is. Now let's go back to Illustrator. Now we cannot turn an Illustrator file into Canvas. Canvas cannot read Illustrator files. I couldn't grade your work. And so the only way to do it is now we got to go to File. We go to Export, Export As. Now you're going to notice it already says the file name of test save. And now your file type, I think, is probably going to say this. I've already kind of adjusted that earlier. So by default, I think yours initially will say this, but what you have to do is go down and select JPEG, not PDF. Make sure this says JPEG. That is the file type that Canvas can read, okay, that I can open up. So that's why we do that. So we have the desktop, we have my name, we're in the right folder, we're in the right place to save it. Go to export. This is going to pop up. Say okay. Now the key thing is, let's go ahead and go to our desktop folder, and there it is. We see like a thumbnail. So now we have the AI file, and we have it as this. So watch this. If I go and I close this now, and let's just say I go open, and let's say I don't have the test save as an Illustrator file, and all I have is the JPEG, right? And I go open that. Notice I don't have my layers. The layers have been compressed. That's what JPEG does. A JPEG will compress the layers. So if I go to File and I go to Open, and I click on my Illustrator file, notice how I have my two layers. Now, what if a student left this part out? They just kind of, oops, left that out. And I made that part of the assignment. So now they got a 50, right? They didn't put the yellow oval in there that I told them to, right? Or a shape. Now they got a 50. They would have to go back if they didn't save it, if they only saved it as a JPEG, right? They wouldn't be able to, continue working with that file, right? So if I saved this as export as a JPEG, test save, mess up, right? Then that's all they have to work with. So you can see it there, right? So if they turn that in, I saw that, and they're supposed to have that. They could just go back to this file and then just kind of put that layer up under there, right? So I could put the layer back up in here, just like that. I could come over here, click on that. I could come over here, click on that, and just kind of put that up under, just like I did earlier. So I could work on layers. But anyway, so that's why we always want to save everything as, just going to get rid of that. We want to save everything as an Illustrator file and a JPEG file, okay? Because if you ever mess up and you turn something in and you left steps out, you can go back to your original file and it's got all the layers, and then you can continue working with it, okay? That's why we do it, okay? All right, so let's screenshot this. So I'm going to go to the window key, Shift S, and I'm going to click and drag. And then I'm going to go back to our canvas. And then I'm going to image, upload. And I'm going to go to, it's not showing it. Maybe it's the last one. Let's hope. Okay, it is. I'm going to include that. I'm going to shrink it down. And now we have our work completed. We've done all 4 steps of what we want to do. Okay. Now you can submit the assignment, confetti, and we have now done all the basic nuts and bolts of getting us started into Illustrator in terms of where we save our work, how we can open our applications, how we can open up presets for files that we're going to work on and make sure they're the right size and the right increments of measure, and then also have a good workspace where it has the tools we want to use, also has the panels we want to use, the layers out, how we're going to use, and then also how we can save things, save as for Illustrator, export as for JPEG. Okay, that was a lot to cover, but there's just no other way to do it. Okay, this going forward, that's pretty much how we function. This is how we're going to function with this program. Okay, all right, that's it.